All right. Well, what is it that you know that has happened?
I've been told that there was a conflict between Dons, specifically Lang and Arush. Something happened. Um, Not sure about the details, but that led to a split. And yeah, and basically the whole crew is split into two. It's extremely vague what I know for sure. I think I was told a little bit more, but I have potentially one of the worst memories, you know, you could think of. So
Hey, it happens to all of us Italians. You know what I mean?
yeah, I truly very bad memory.
It's all good. Now, I mean, I think the information that was given to you and that you recall is on point, more or less. The whole I
Mhm.
guess I'll just explain it from the beginning. Kind of summed up, right? So we were on a job, and
Yeah,
things were getting pretty hectic over the radio. You know the way things are, right? Screaming and shit. Uh,
yeah.
Back and forth between almost everybody on radio, and yeah, things got heated. Lang kind of pushed Arush to a point where Arush reacted in a terrible fucking way, and it's been like that for a long time, like pushing each other's buttons and all that. It's been kind of a build up, and not really being on the same page, I guess. And it grew frustration and amongst everybody, amongst the Dons.
Hmm.
Arusha ended up hitting Lang, which he shouldn't have done in the middle of a job, and it's just mistakes from everybody's end. I'd say, it was bad. I mean, I was on foot running away from the cops and shit when both of them guys could have helped pick me up. Thankfully, Arush picked me up later. But I mean, like I said, it's been a build up, right? These things. This isn't the
Right.
first time this happens, and amongst brothers, we tend to fight a lot, and that's just what happens, right? I'm not gonna put the blame on Lang or Roosh or anybody. It's just the way things are. But it hit a tipping point. It hit a tipping point after Roosh hit Lang. He thought Roosh wanted to actually kill him, and it wasn't the case. And uh, I spoke to Lang after that, and the way I kind of spoke to Lang after, like during that, was I was kind of pointing out his mistakes as well, and he got really upset about that. So he just said, "You know what? I'm just gonna pack up. I can't lead with you guys anymore. I'm gonna grab my piece of the pie, and I'm getting out of here." So at that time, we're
Mm.
thinking Lang's just gone. We don't know. There's no word of or mention of like a division north and south. And he grabs his things. I'm trying to tell him, hey, let's talk about it. Cool down a little bit. Let's fucking talk about it. This can't happen. But he set on his decision, and he disappears for a day. Then Friday comes, Thanksgiving, and we're having some crew time, having a nice dinner. Kitty was there. Everybody from the crew was there. So unfortunately, you couldn't make it. I think it was a little bit too early for you.
Yeah, yeah. I was probably already sleeping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard something about that too. Actually, now that you say that, it was like an explosion or something,
Oh yeah. Looks like Yuno
or
was like shooting some fucking tankers or some shit outside, causing havoc.
yeah, Katie told me something about Sakura.
Yeah.
She like I don't know. It was like something out of a movie or something. Like she tried to kill someone. I forgot what she said exactly.
Well,
Like
Sakura,
I said.
she wanted to blow up Thanksgiving. She wanted to, like, I don't know if she wanted to throw a fucking C4 in there, grenade or whatever, but she wanted to kill absolutely everybody.
Oh, you just lost her fucking mind or what? Like,
Yes, yeah. Fucking demons got to her. Lost her mind and
damn.
she went ubats. She went crazy.
You could say the the demons told her to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Lang...
Murder. Sorry.
No worries. Lang calls us up in the middle of Thanksgiving, and we meet at the forge. And he's there with Al Sab. He walks up to me, Arush, and Harry, and he says, I got an offer I want to put down on the table. I'm going to be moving north of Cypress, above El Rancho. I'm going to take that turf. You guys stay south. We can't lead together, but perhaps we can lead separately. Now, you got to understand, the energy there was way different than I'm telling it right now. It was very threatening. It was either you guys accept these terms, or I will strangle Cypress and watch you guys fall. You know, Lang. He's got a lot of fucking power. He's very persuasive, and he's a good talker. He's got a silver tongue, and he's got a lot of history in this city, and a lot of people he can move. I had no doubt in my mind that he could, indeed, screw us entirely over.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I didn't take that too lightly. I was upset. I was pissed off. The emotions got the better of me. I was angry. Arush was as well. Harry was just kind of like in shock. And well, I end up telling Lang after discussing with the boys that he can fuck off with that deal. And he ain't taking any part of Cypress, because I mean, initially we'd agreed that no other gangs, no other crews would move into Cypress. It would just be us, right? It would just we were gonna hold it down, and that's the way it's been for the past fucking 10 months. So yeah, I mean, he said, Are you sure that this is the way you guys want to take it? You guys want to see the fall of Cypress? We stood on it, and he left. We didn't shoot him. Prior to that, he had taken some guns. A lot of our guns, more than half of the guns that we already had, and his actions at that point in time were well, they hurt, right? We thought he was betraying us to a sense.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's very shocking. Like that's definitely something I was curious about. Is in my mind, like I wasn't there, so I can't judge, but I feel like it could have gone multiple different ways there. Like either you guys like could have, an altercation could have happened, perhaps. Given the way I see it is from the start, and the Slooch from the very start, there was a certain structure, right? You guys were made the 5 Dons as a method of having a majority vote, and I think to myself, oh, it was just Lang against 3 other Dons, right? How could he slip away from this? But it's like you said, he is a very slick, very slippery. He does have power, and he's also tough. I could see how if things went a different way, that doesn't guarantee that he would stay down. For example, I'm not insinuating anything, but that's just the reality of possibilities, right? And yeah, I'm just glad to hear that, right? It's a clarification of the operation. I mean, in your shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. It's easy to say otherwise, but reality is different.
Yeah. Trust me, it wasn't an easy decision to make at the time, and man, I was in shock. I was hurt. I was, like I said, all the emotions got the better of me, and yeah, shit wasn't easy. It was one of the darkest days in Cyprus that we've had so far, and man, I wish we could just roll back time, do things differently.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Hearing this, it's very rough. Uh, I gotta tell you, it's the goof of all time. How God sets the rules in opposition. Lang has probably the strongest leader mentality, but he is bound to self-destruct. History has proven that time and time again. You, Luciano, you're probably the smartest Don, but sometimes you may lack resolve. Tony has the biggest heart. Everyone respects him, but he has poor ambition. Harry is somehow the most disciplined and yet the shortest temper. It doesn't make any sense. And Arush, I think he has the highest mental fortitude, but he makes rash decisions. And it's absolutely crazy how, until this point, things have been kind of smooth with the whole crew and the 5 Dons. And I think somehow it worked. And to see that kind of fall apart here is, yeah, I'm just, the future is uncertain. And what one thing I don't like is uncertainty. I guess something I have different from other people is I actually don't like change. I like comfort. But when change is presented, you gotta stay strong. And I guess that's why I'm still here. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Times are tough, Octo. Times are tough. But times are getting better. Things are getting better. That's not the end of it, though. I mean, shit happened even after that.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
We had
What
a crew
else?
meeting. We had a crew meeting, and we brought everybody together. Everybody that was at Thanksgiving. And, we said some things there, right? We said that Lang was treasonous. We shifted blame. Didn't take much accountability for the things that we had a part to play in. The killings. The decision making. All of it. We shifted blame and it's something we shouldn't have done. But again, when emotions are at an all high, mistakes are made. And people didn't like that. A lot of people didn't like that. Saw us as weak. And I don't blame them, to be honest. Now, we pulled in Gigi, Andy, even Martin, Clark. We talked about the decision we had made with Lang, not agreeing to his terms. And for the better part of almost 10 hours, we were discussing options, weighing the scales of the balance, and seeing what would truly happen if we either took the deal or not. What would happen if we go up against Lang Buddha? What would happen if we take the deal, split Cyprus into two? What would lead to the immediate fall of our people? What would let them survive and thrive, even if coexisting? So at the end of the day, our minds changed, our opinion changed on the whole thing, and we thought rationally.
Yeah.
With a cool head, we spoke to Lang, and we told them we'd we'd agree to the terms and the conditions. Cyprus would be divided into two. He would be the Don of the North. He would have a list of people that he would approach, and whether they want to go with him, they would, it'd be entirely up to them. And whoever stays in the southern part of Cyprus would be led by the three Dons. 4, since Tony wasn't there at the time. And, we agreed on a couple things. If there was war, the city wouldn't see us as a divided crew, but instead as one. So if there was war in the north, it would likely spill in the south. And only then we would fight together, and vice versa. But if war stays in the north will fight its war. If war comes to the south, and only to the south will fight its war. We agreed on respecting each other's ranks, but not giving each other's orders. So the north does not give orders to the south does not give orders to the north. We just respect each other's ranks. Think of it as the families of New York, but in Cyprus. A Don of the north and 3 in the south. There were other terms that we discussed, and everything seemed alright after negotiations. At the end of the day, Octo, we didn't want to see our people bleed. We didn't want to see our people fall apart. We didn't want to see the end of the thing that we've been built in for the past year. This was the only way. We either chose a doomed path or a path with a little bit of hope.
Okay.
So
yeah, that answers one question that I had for sure.
He called. Yep.
Very important outcome.
He spoke to several people. He spoke to the 404. He spoke to Leah, Sophia, and they all agreed to go up north. So they're no longer part of South Cyprus. They're working with him, whatever business he has going on there. Everybody else stayed until Tony came back. Tony heard the news and he was put in a rough spot. I can't fucking blame the guy. Dead in the middle. 4 Dons going at it.
Yeah.
And him being the 5th Don, he didn't know what to do. He was just lost. He wanted us to fight together and be one. But what would be the point of a separation at that point, right? There has to be some sort of division somewhere.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be the bridge. He wanted to bridge the 2 crews together. That wasn't necessary, though. We had already agreed on what we had discussed with Lang, and Tony just stood on the point that he wanted to fight for Lang, and he couldn't stand the North bleeding and the South not doing anything about it, or the other way around. And I know they're very close. I know they're tight. They've been for years. So we discussed it a couple days, and ultimately we told Tony, listen, if you got to go up north, brother, you go up north. We're not going to hold you back. You're a Don. You make your own decision. But I know things would be easier if you were next to Lang, fighting by his side, keeping him safe, keeping him sane. We can handle things down here in the south. The doors are always open, but I know that's what you want. And so Tony went north. He's now part of North Cyprus with the rest of them.
I see. So, no strings attached?
Not really, no.
Well, yeah. Tony, I have had a talk with him. He hasn't, really been able to say much about it because it was a pretty brief talk. I think it was the day after. But he said he had a lot of things he had to tell me, he had to talk to me, but it wasn't time yet. But yeah, hearing that, I'm definitely curious about my position in all this. Like, what do I really matter, right? I mean that in the sense of, you know, would it really change anything for me to split? Because I've always seen myself quite as a freelancer in some ways. So I'm just gonna say that out right here is I would rather just linger in the shadows and do my own thing with anyone. Maybe officializing something will add strings and make it strict, but if nobody says anything, I'll just do jobs with whoever. But at the same time, you know, maybe you can't be that way. Because I mean, Luch, you know me, you know Tony, and this is a certain, you know, as long as I stick with Tony, and not because I don't like or trust anyone else, but for me and Tony, we have deep ties, and like it's a friendship that goes back to where it all began. So it's a layer of comfort that nobody else can provide. Something I value with my life, and it's a unbelievably important key to me enjoying my time in the city. And I feel bad for people who don't have that. I haven't had that in the past. But now I do. And you know, over time, I've looked up to every single dawn, especially you. I mean, you probably know this. You know, out of all the people that I call when I wake up, you know, it's Tony, you, and Gigi. Those are like my three. Like, I just have a lot of respect for you guys, and from meeting you back then to where we are now, it's been quite the journey. And for me, none of that has to end. I don't want it to end, as a matter of fact. Uh, but this split is depending on perspective. It's almost like it's forcing me to, but I refuse unless told otherwise. So yeah, I feel internally forced to choose a side, even though you haven't told me anything. Nobody's asked me for that, and I hate it because I've been through situations like this my whole life, and it always ends the same way for one side. So I don't know. Cypress. Listen, I care a lot about it, but I reached the point where I stopped caring. I stopped caring for Cypress as a business. Because I fooled myself from the start, you know? I fooled myself from the start. Lang said it himself on day one, this won't be like 6 years ago. And I absolutely deluded myself. And initially, you know, I thought it would be an evolution of the lean. I've realized for quite some time now that that would never happen, and I accept that. For a moment, things were pretty damn close, if you ask me. around the time where the Mirror Park house was sold, I think that was the point where I definitely became disconnected. I like to feel like I have meaning and purpose, right? Little by little, the operation grew. With that, people grew. And there were so many people in the crew at one point that I didn't feel the need to really work. And I know I'm going off track here, but I'm just trying to, I don't know, I guess I'm letting loose. But I miss the start, you know. Things were pretty simple, and I guess until this point, things have become so complicated, and tensions have risen, and now this, you know, it's. I can only imagine the stress that you've been through, Luch. Yeah, I just.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that.
Stress for all of us, brother. Stress not only for me, but for everybody. I mean, people were losing hope.
Yeah.
And I can't blame you for the way you felt over the past months after the Mirror Park house. Shit, even after we sold that fucking Southside house. Things changed drastically. We were a small crew at that by then. And we grew, and things just kind of got lost. Look, Octo, I'm never gonna ask you to pick, never gonna ask you to choose anybody over Tony. I understand your bond is beyond, you can't compare it with anything.
Yeah.
All I ask is you give us a chance down here in the South. We're changing the way we operate, the way we do things. I'm not gonna stop you from doing work, hanging out with anybody in the North. You do whatever you want to do. And if there's an opportunity for you to go up north and be up north, I'm not gonna stop you either. And I think that only applies to very few in this crew, if any.
I must say, I know for sure I've been quite privileged with my role, and I really appreciate that. I feel like as a specialist, I couldn't ask for more, right? And in many ways, like I said, I do feel I have no right to complain because I reached the point where I haven't really been putting in that work. I haven't been deeply tied, and yeah, not much to say about that besides, you know, sorry, and I wish I could do better, but there's a lot of factors that you probably know about, right? I don't think you want to hear how how I lost my connection with cars in the city, you know.
Yeah.
At this stage, it doesn't matter. And yeah, I think right now, adaptation. Yeah, hopefully, you know, from what you just said, I don't see a reason to pinch myself around. If I can just keep doing what I do, then that's fine with me. I just want to be useful to the Dons, regardless of which side.
Yeah. We have our duties to fulfill in the South, Octo. we'd love for you to help us out with that. I understand if you know, you pulled aside to do things with the North. Like I said, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
We're moving to a different direction. Ranks are going to be stripped. There won't be any captains. There won't be any enforcers. Everything else stays. We're putting people in roles, specific roles, to make sure every branch of the tree is growing. And maybe you have a part to play in that too. With whatever, anything you want to take the reins of. You're a very, very capable man, and we could use you in times of these. You know, use your experience, even your company. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that this time of the year.
Yeah. I mean, you know my area of expertise for sure. I'm not trying to, you know, be something I'm not, but yeah, hey, if you need someone to drive car, I drive car.
That's fucking right. That's fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe you can teach some folks to fucking drive and all that. I feel like that's something we all are terrible at, and maybe that's something you can get involved in. Take the reins of that.
I've had a couple people approach me with that in mind, just trying to get some tips. I mean, yeah, that could very well, be a little day where I guide a couple people, because just teaching the basics. I feel like despite a lot of people, they've been driving through the city for years and years, and there's the essentials are still missing for many of them. So just squeezing that into people's brains sometimes is really hard, but I can try.
Yeah. You can only lead a horse to the water, huh?
Yeah, you can say that. All right. Well, I appreciate the talk.
If you have any other questions, you let me know, all right? I'm not trying to spin a story. I'm not trying to, wash your brain or anything like that. I'm not trying to tell you lies. I'm just giving you the story straight as it is, and I know you have to talk to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have conversations.
I have not sensed any, any of that at all. I mean, you've been honest. I can clearly see that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's why you're a good leader. You're real. People respect you, Luch. I think things will be fine.
Yeah. Thanks. They will be. They will be. Trust me. We're getting this shit out of the gutter, making things better.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
Get out of here.